The city of Baltimore turning to the federal government to put a halt to its dramatic rise in violence. Police launching a 2-month partnership, so-called, that will see 10 federal agents embedded with the city's homicide detectives. Baltimore's crime wave has soared since Freddie Gray died in police custody back in May, sparking riots across the city. A total of 191 people have been killed so far this year in the city of Baltimore. 116 of them have died between May and July. 45 deaths in July match Baltimore's all-time monthly high of murders, that back in 1972. Our next guest says the violence has nothing to do with police in Baltimore. Joining us tonight is Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clarke. Sheriff, good to have you here. Why do you say nothing to do with police?
Well, first of all, welcome to Barack Obama's 21st century transformation of the American police officer. And he started this in Baltimore. Look, he's asked for law enforcement officers to engage in more dialogue. They've asked for the creation of no-go zones where they don't want the police. They've asked for a de-emphasis on making arrests, making cases, to put these long-time career criminals away. And this is what you get. Look, they don't know what they're doing in Baltimore, and it starts at the top with Mayor Rawlings Blake. Calling in 10 federal officers from disparate agencies is not going, it's going to have the effect of throwing a rock in the ocean and think you're going to create a tidal wave. And for 2 months, if they thought this was that simple, then they should have done this a long time ago. Here's what works in cities, Lou. Broken windows policing works. Stop, question, and frisk initiatives like that work. Assertive policing works. More police officers for urban policing. The feds are not designed for urban policing, and so it's kind of a mismatch. But this is all great theater. It sounds good. It mistakes activity for accomplishment.
Yeah, I think, Sheriff, that you have said that as well as it could be said. The real issue here is why in the world is not the mayor, the police commissioner, since fired, why is the mayor still there? And the nonsense that surrounds all of the politics in that pitifully run city. There, standing before us, was a white police commissioner, when the reality is that the community had been saying 30 years ago they needed to have a black power structure in order to be effectively governed. And now they bring in a white police commissioner. I have never seen such a screwed up city as Baltimore in my career.
You know, and it's not just Baltimore, but if you look at some of these cities experiencing this spike in crime, New York, my own hometown of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Chicago, and other areas, these are cities that have forever been led by liberal Democrat mayors. This is the manifestation of these failed liberal social policies, and they won't admit that. So there has to be two things going on at once. First of all, stop all this nonsense with these failed liberal policies that have done nothing more than made poverty a lifestyle. It's created failing public schools for the kids to go to. You've created father-absent homes by breaking up the black family, removing the black man from his rightful position in his household to raise his children, and then you have people that can't find meaningful work. That's the manifestation of these failed liberal policies. But when they take care of that, those don't cause crime, Lou, and you know that, but those are risk factors for crime and violence. So that's what I want to hear from Mayor Rawlings Blake. I want to hear plans to reduce poverty, fix the schools, help people find meaningful employment, and try to do everything that you can to reestablish the black male in charge of his children. And then on top of that, because you have to have two things at once, on top of that, you have to have more assertive policing. She threw her police department under the bus, build up the morale of that agency, Baltimore's finest, hire some more law enforcement officers, local law enforcement officers, because cops matter, and then turn them loose within the Constitution, hold them accountable, turn them loose to protect the overwhelming majority of law-abiding black people that live in the city of Baltimore. You do that for a period of time, and you will see crime start to bend back in the other direction and start to dissipate.
You know, to the mayor and the city council of Baltimore, you just had free counsel and consultation from a man who knows what he's talking about. We hope that they're listening to you, Sheriff David Clarke. Always good to talk with you. Thanks for being